talking about this. It makes me feel so vulnerable, but I think it's important. So hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a new video for you guys, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about mental health. So if you guys want to see what I'm talking about, then please stay tuned, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and Twitter. And let's get right into the video. Okay, you guys, so I actually took some notes because I really wanted to get my thoughts together, and hopefully I can get all of my thoughts across to you guys. If you guys didn't know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I really wanted to make a video to chat about mental health and maybe give some tips on how you can help yourself and help others around you. Mental health is very dear to my heart, and I enjoy sharing what I learn about it because it's very, very helpful, and I feel like it's beneficial for everybody to learn about. I'm very hesitant on talking about mental health a lot of the time because I don't want to use it as like a clickbait type of thing, or I've spoke about this before in my past video, but it's really just I don't want to like overuse it and then it's not going to be as important anymore, if that makes sense, because there's a ton of videos online and stuff where everybody is just talking about being depressed or anxious or whatever it is, and it's after a while things like that, if you just overstimulate people with the same information over and over again, sometimes it just starts to lose its like meaning and feeling and importance, and I just don't want to be that type of person to do that, and I don't want to, I'd rather be like more informative and helpful. I hope I'm getting that across. Anyways, I do want to encourage all of us to kind of open up a conversation about mental health and be a little bit more open about it in general, just because it's very important and it's affecting a lot of people, and it's affecting people that don't even know it's affecting them, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. So I think that is very, very important. And my friend Nojo, he makes my beats for my YouTube videos, by the way. So all the beats you've been hearing for like the past couple of months have been from I am Nojo. It's always linked, well, his @ name is always in the description box below, so definitely go check him out. He's super dope. But he actually encouraged me to make this video because I have talked about mental health in the past, and it is Mental Health Awareness Month. I wanted to talk about this also at the end of the month. I wanted to upload this video at the end of the month because although like I love when we do focus on certain things, like having a month dedicated to awareness of mental health is really, really dope. But I also want to encourage you guys to and remind you guys that like just because a month is over doesn't mean that it's not affecting people anymore and that it's not important anymore, obviously. So I just really wanted to talk about it and upload this towards the end of the month. If you guys didn't know, I went to school for psychology. I feel like I say this in like every video now, but psychology has really, really helped me understand mental health at a different level. It's so funny because before I even went to college, I just kind of picked psychology because it opened doors to I can get my master's in anything, I can get a doctorate in anything after I have psychology, because it's kind of like it's a science and you have to take a lot of math classes as well for the core of the degree and all of that stuff. So it opens a lot of doors, and it doesn't necessarily like close you into like sticking to one particular major in the future. So that's basically why I picked psychology, and also because I really love and always enjoyed helping people find some sort of peace, if I could in any way. It helped me help myself because I learned that I actually had panic attacks. I learned that I have anxiety, and I learned that mental health is a real thing. So I just learned a lot of techniques and stuff on how I can help myself, and overall I implemented it in helping those around me whenever I saw that maybe they needed help or whenever they asked for my help. So I really think that it's important to remember that your mind is very powerful, and I feel like a lot of people tend to downplay mental health and tend to downplay psychologists, and it's not considered essential in any way, and it's very unfortunate because truly, if you study and read into how powerful your mind is, like, it's so cliche to say it at this point that, oh, and by the way, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. I don't want mental health to become a type of thing that's just cliche, because it's like everywhere. Everybody's just like saying all types of things. But anyway, that's the word that I was looking for earlier. But yeah, it's very cliche to say like, oh, the mind is so powerful. You have to like be careful about, you know, your thoughts and all of that stuff. But truly, your mind is like super powerful. You can literally make yourself sick from your thoughts. Like, your thoughts can make you sick. Your thoughts can make you do a lot of things. And a lot of times it's very subconsciously. So like, people won't even know why they're behaving a certain way. People won't know why something triggered them, or that they were even triggered in the first place. So it's very important to truly take that into account. And not to mention, there's been a lot of cases that people have actually healed themselves from terminal diseases and terminal sicknesses and just sicknesses in general. They have healed themselves literally by their minds. And it's not to say like, oh, if you think positively, it's gonna solve all your problems. That's not the point that I'm trying to get across. I'm just saying that although it's cliche to say that the mind is very powerful, I feel like we need to dive into it a little bit more. I'm saying all of that to say that it's very important to know yourself and to understand who you are on a deeper level than like, you know, like your like regular stuff, like knowing that I like coffee, knowing that I like the color blue, or knowing that my favorite season is summer, or blah blah blah. Like, all of these kinds of things, that's not necessarily knowing yourself, that's knowing facts about yourself. Like, knowing yourself is actually like getting in deeper and knowing, why do I feel a little bit overwhelmed when there's a lot of people in a room? Why do I feel kind of like lonely when, well, not lonely, but like sad when it starts getting darker earlier? Why? You know, like the deeper kinds of things. I feel like people don't take enough time to actually get to know themselves, because they don't necessarily spend a lot of time with themselves by themselves. So one of the things that I feel like can help people that are struggling with their mental health in any way is definitely understanding and knowing your triggers. So that can be from, let's say you were raised in a household where people were always drinking and there was a lot of commotion and stuff like that. So when somebody is drinking, you feel triggered, because it's just like, it's bringing back all those feelings of like, oh my God, there was always commotion. Like, alcohol is the reason for like everything and blah blah blah. But knowing that you'll feel triggered, like let's say if you go to a bar, or if your friends invite you out to a bar or something like that, is very important, because it's going to help you like mentally prepare. And also, once you become aware of the situation, it's easier for you to manage your feelings and communicate that to people. So if somebody were drinking and then you had an attitude with them, they would understand like, oh, I get it. Like, you know, it's just a thing about like, if you know yourself, you're able to communicate it to other people, and then they're able to understand you better. So that's something that has helped me, is learning what my triggers are. I'm still learning. I feel like as you get older, you're always going to continue to learn, oh wow, why did that bother me? Like, that's always like, that's been like the question that I've just been asking myself every time I feel like sad, or every time I feel upset, or every time somebody upsets me. Because 99.9% of the time is not that person really did anything. It's really you. It's really like a deeper seated root on something that's happened in the past that is triggering. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Another thing that is very important, especially now during this weird place and space and time, is that you have to know when to take a break and when to be easy on yourself. I spoke about this book before, but The 4 Agreements is one of my favorite books of all times, and the 4 Agreements in general are something that I could live by. Like, it completely relieves just so much. But the very last rule is always do your best. And people tend to get that one confused and think that their best is for if you're a student, their best is always getting hundreds or A's or whatever it is. That's the best. Like that, like always doing your best means always being like perfect or something, when that is not the case. That rule basically means that your best is going to change from day to day. So yesterday I was supposed to film this video. Actually, it was on my schedule and I was supposed to film this video, but I felt really like tired. Like my body was actually exhausted, where I needed to take a nap and just kind of relax and chill out for the day. And I was able to get other things that didn't require as much energy as, you know, filming a video and all of that stuff. So I understood that that was the best that I could do yesterday. Today, I'm able to set up and film this video. And this is the best that I can do today. And some people might say, well, this is more productive, so this is better than that. But truthfully, you have to listen to your body and understand when you feel okay enough to do something. Know that your best changes from day to day. So if your best today was staying in bed and watching shows, that's your best. If your best today is getting up and being super productive, or replying to emails, or doing whatever you have to do nowadays at home, you know what a day looks like for you, and you know how it feels to be productive versus not productive. And truthfully, it's okay to not be productive, especially when something as serious as this is going on. And also in general, even when life is super busy. In New York City, there's always like this thing of like hustling and getting on the move, and it's always like super fast paced. And that's cool and all, you're super productive, and a lot of success comes from being productive and all of that stuff. But it's also very unhealthy to feel and think that you have to be super productive every single day. I personally have stressed myself out tremendously whenever I felt like I was being like lazy or something, or it's just like I don't really feel like doing this and blah blah blah. And there's a difference between I don't feel like doing this because I'm just feeling lazy, and I don't feel like doing this because I mentally and physically and emotionally just feel so out of pocket and I need to take a step back. There's a difference between that, and you have to understand that difference for yourself. It's different for everybody. So I think that that's like super duper important, is to really understand where you're at mentally every single day and every moment of the day, because every day is different, every moment is different. I've had days where I feel super motivated in the morning, and then towards like the evening and stuff, I'll feel like, you know, I'm just tired, like I can't do it anymore, or something triggered me so bad that I feel like I just want to crawl in bed and just act like nothing is happening, kind of thing, you know. So it's very important to know where you're at mentally. Sometimes your energy is super low, so you feel like, typically when my energy is low, I try to stay away from people, because I don't like to spread that. I don't like to, I can feel people's energy. If somebody comes around and they're just like, I could feel like negative around them, I feed off of that. And same as if it's positive, I feed off of that. So I know that we are all human beings who feed off of energy, whether you think you do or you don't. Energy is very contagious. So I try to stay away from people, especially when my energy is really low, and that's okay. It's really okay to take a break and say, you know, I just need some time to myself and I need to reboot, because this just ain't it. This is not right. Some days you'll feel okay to do certain things, and some days you'll be like, that's not for me today. That's okay. That's really okay. Yeah, that's basically it. The biggest thing is checking in with yourself every step of the way, checking in on how you feel. This has been an elongated period of time where it's testing us in so many ways. This year has been very like testing in so many ways. And it's very important to just check in with yourself and ask yourself, how do I feel about that? Take a step back, and if something bothers you, or something, if you feel a way about something, it's okay to ask yourself, why do I feel a way about that? And most of all, something that's really helped me is like, what is this teaching me? Like, what can I take from this? Because I'm a true believer in that everything happens for a reason. So whether you understand the reason or not, it's important, like, just check in and ask and try to figure out like, what could it be possibly teaching you about yourself? Because chances are, if something is bothering you, if something has triggered you, although the situation may go away, it's gonna repeat in the future in some sort of way. Maybe not the same situation, but underlying is going to be like the same lesson that you were supposed to learn like 2 years ago or something. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is how I feel and what I feel is the best way to help others, because I'm speaking from a point of being in a place where I needed certain things from people, or yeah, like being from a place where I've had like miscommunication and not feeling understood, or like me not necessarily knowing how to express myself and then expecting people to kind of just get it type of thing. So I'm coming from a space of knowing what I needed from people at a certain time, and also how I have seen other people behave when they're feeling like super low or anxious or something. So in my opinion, the best way to help others is to just be there and ask them what do they need from you. So if you have a friend who you know gets super anxious or gets depressed, or there are various habits and things, and I can't find my words today. But if you have a friend or family member or spouse or whatever it is that struggles with a certain trait that you know, they know, or whatever, the best thing to do is really just be there for them and ask them like, what do you need from me in this time? Sometimes that's gonna look different. Sometimes it's just like, I just want to be left alone, and just kind of leave them alone. But my advice would be like, leave them alone to do what they need to do for themselves, but don't just abandon them. You know what I mean? Like, still check in with them and still be there in a way that's not necessarily interrupting them, but they know that you're there for them type of thing. Because a lot of times I've been in spaces where I just don't want to talk to anybody, and truly I just want people to kind of like be there, but don't bother me. Like, I want your company, but I don't want to necessarily talk about my feelings right now or talk about anything. I just kind of want your company type of thing. So that tends to be a tricky situation, and you just kind of have to feel that out. But when I've had anxiety, I get a lot of tunnel vision, and I'm very like, I get really like snappy. So I get anxiety sometimes. Like, one of the very simple not everyday type of thing, but one of the things that I get anxiety for is just leaving my house. Like, I get anxiety to go outside because I just get a little bit of social anxiety, especially going to events. In the past, I've gotten a lot better at it, but if I know I'm going to an event, I'll really start to get anxious. And if I'm running late, it's even worse. People will be talking to me and I can't hear. Like, I hear them, but I'm not able to listen in that moment because my anxiety level is like way up here, and it's just not, like, the best thing to do is not even communicate with me, because you can tell me something very important, and although I heard you, I did not listen. And I can literally, like, in those moments, I can literally respond and say, yeah, I heard you and I'll hear you, but I could not possibly take it in because I have straight tunnel vision. It's just not good. It's not a good time. It's not a good time. So when I say I'm snappy is if somebody asks me a question and I'm already like super anxious, I'll get an attitude. I feel so awkward talking about this. I don't like talking about this. It makes me feel so vulnerable, but I think it's important. So I'm just gonna talk about it. I'm actually getting anxious right now. I'm actually getting hot. Yeah. Something that's super important is to not take things personally. And that's another one of the agreements actually, is don't take anything personally. And I think that especially if you know, and I've communicated this to everybody around me, it's just like, sometimes I'm really anxious, so I'm sorry, like if I'm being like mean or something, because I in that moment can't process information and I can't even begin to empathize. Once you become aware, you're better at like, oh shoot, that was not cool, or you're better at checking yourself. But and still in some moments when you're just in that flight or fight mode, it's very hard for you to even come down to earth. Like, it's not easy. So just don't take anything personally if you know somebody in your life is like that. And a lot of times, again, 99.9% of the times, if somebody is snapping at you, it literally has nothing to do with you. And the reason why I say 99 instead of like 100% is because sometimes like people are, you know, just actually like coming at you, and it just is what it is. But for the most part, it's not even about you. And I think that if you could just detach and just understand, like, okay, I'm just gonna like step away a little bit or calm down or just kind of wait this out, it's very, very helpful for you and for the person who you're trying to help. You just have to be patient with yourself and be patient with people, because we're all human beings. We're all very, very, like, we're all human beings. Like, we're all the same people. Like, we experience things differently, and life just comes at us differently, and we make different decisions from one another. And you know, we're unique for sure, but we're all the same. Like, we all have feelings, we all have trauma, we all have past experiences that have built us to who we are today. And the sooner we are able to understand that we are very similar and are very much the same, and we're just at the core, we're just human beings that are confused and trying to figure out life, we can have more compassion towards one another and are able to understand one another, even if the next person is like pissing you off for whatever reason. A lot of us don't even know that we're struggling, but people are walking around suffering. No matter what their social media looks like, no matter what they're saying. And that's not to say that you have to let people walk all over you and be a pushover and be around people that really don't sit right with your energy, because that's not helpful to you or them. It's just a matter of you being aware of who you are. Yeah, it's just awareness overall. This is what this video is about. It's about awareness, and hopefully I opened your eyes to something that maybe you didn't know, or a situation that you're probably going through right now. In this time, it's easy to be triggered because of what's going on in the world right now. People have loved ones that are very sick. It's a place that a lot of us never experienced before. So it's very easy to be triggered, especially when you don't have all these distractions of like going to get your hair done or going to get your nails done, because those are temporary fixes that would make you feel super happy or whatever for like a day or for a couple of hours or whatever it is. It's a time where people are really able to face themselves and see who they really are. And I encourage you to take the time to learn about yourself and heal yourself. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is just be very patient with yourself. Imagine if I talk like that. I mean, it's no problem. It's not a bad thing. I drank too much coffee. I feel like that's always my excuse for my videos, for my weird personality. I hope this video did something though. I hope this video like was helpful, and I hope it actually does encourage you guys to spend time with yourself. I mean, now you have no excuse. Where are you going? Where are you going? Seriously. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and Twitter. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!